Joygasm, a video game and movie podcast. I am Russ. He's Steve. And we hope you had a lovely Valentine's Day on this February 17th, 2022. This is actually episode 262, which kind of sort of rhymes. We have a fun show in store for you today, but before we go any further, make sure you snuggle that subscribe button and I don't know, maybe love pat that notification bell. That way you will not miss a single episode of Joygasm. It drops once a week every week. Having said that, we are going to be catching up with each other, which we haven't done so in a few episodes. Before going right into our topic of the day, which is the Super Bowl commercial reactions.
I told you recently, my wife and I went through the entire Lord of the Rings extended edition.
Yes, you did.
Series.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool.
Yep.
I was playing Outer Worlds because I was continuing it.
That's right. I remember that.
A while ago.
Did you beat it?
No. Actually, I got tired of it.
You got tired of it?
I got exhausted of it. I'm like, I would play the game, and the game, there's just not enough cool stuff that happens in the game. Like, I'd go to all these worlds, and I'd find all this stuff that I was supposed to get, do all the missions, but there's so much talking in the game.
There's a lot of dialogue.
I'm just like, what? You got to, like, give me more than just dialogue. I mean, reading, and that's literally, like, 50% of the game is just standing there like, okay, select that option. What if I say this?
Yeah.
You know, and then I found myself getting so distracted. I didn't care about the dialogue. I was just like doing push-ups or something like, okay, this conversation's happening. I don't care about it. What else? And so then I decided to spoil it for myself actually.
Oh.
And so what I did was I went on YouTube. I was like, Outer Worlds ending. Search. And then I saw it and I'm like, that's what I'm sitting here, this dialogue for, just like, this is what happens to this person. Here's the story you got to read and what happens. You're like, more talking. I'm done. I'm done with it. It was a beautiful game, beautiful colors and stuff, but I
gotta say, I'm a bit surprised in the sense that typically I've not heard you complain about narrative-driven games before. Like you've played your fair share of RPGs and other narratives that have a substantial amount of dialogue, but I guess this one just wasn't keeping your attention.
This one just was out of balance between like the dialogue and the action. And so like even if like the ship, I love spaceships.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
of course. And so
who doesn't like spaceships?
And so like I wanted to see, I called my ship the Unreliable, by the way.
The Unreliable.
So I wanted to see this thing like, you know, take off and fly away. Kind of similar to what's that Star Wars game we just played last year?
You talking about Jedi Fallen Order?
Fallen Order. Like you could see like the whole ship taking off and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I loved all that. And so I wanted to see more cinematic stuff happening. I wanted to see more action. I wanted to see the story more so unfold besides just one character in the center of my screen talking to me, you know.
You could tell that I think that the team had a limited budget. It was like they had this pitch of an idea for a game. I think that Microsoft greenlit a certain amount of money for them to work with because you could see like where they were trying to go. And like in my gameplay experience, at first I was really having to work at staying with the game just because it wasn't holding my interest. And then I would say about like 60% of the way through, suddenly it started really getting good. I started to actually begin to bond with my crew.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like when it was finally hitting the stride, I was like, okay, yeah, now we're getting into it. The game just all of a sudden ends. And I was like, whoa. But the way it ends is almost like a cliffhanger in a way. Like you could tell like it was designed to like, we're going to stop it here, but almost be like this episodic RPG in a way.
Yeah.
And, but I was just kind of surprised. I was like, wow, like I was just now really getting into it. And then all of a sudden we come to the stop.
Where I was at, I think you can get like 6 crew members and I had 4.
Uh-huh.
And I was at this part where I'm supposed to negotiate with these 2 different factions on this one planet. Because a ship lands and you're supposed to say, okay, the ship's got a weapon and this place is supposed to defend itself against like the corporation sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And who's going to be the better leader? More like the negotiator guy or the more like military run person. And they're kind of headbutting a bunch. And so you're supposed to kind of bring them both to the table. And granted, I got like this rare achievement for like having the highest reputation among like all the factions in the universe up until this point. And I could not bring them to the table. There was a way to do it, and I couldn't do it. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. We're going to war. And I know it. I'm like, just here's the thing. And they're like, oh, great. Now they're at your doorstep. You have to kill their other side. You know, like,
Steve's
whatever.
like sitting there at the table. He's like, all of a sudden he just snaps. He's like, upends the table. Everyone's like, oh, like you were this far away from being like ultimate paragon. No longer. Nope.
And so like I completely just decimated my reputation. Like I just didn't care. I was tired of like, I don't know.
That's okay. It's okay.
I'm glad I played it. It is beautiful. And the humor is good. I will say that. The humor is funny. It just was not enough action to balance out the dialogue.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. Well, if we pivot from that over to some news that's actually kind of sad. Well, it's not kind of sad. It is sad.
It's kind of tragic.
Yeah, it's really tragic. But at the same time, we feel as though it's important for us just to talk about it for a bit. And that is the passing of Ivan Reitman. And Ivan Reitman has been a director and producer for many decades and has been responsible for some outstanding comedies throughout the years. And I think I can speak for the two of us where obviously our hearts go out to the Reitman family. I know that must be an absolute crushing blow to them, and our condolences are with them and their family. I'd also like to talk about how his filmography is one that is just so fun to be able to go down and with just this attitude of gratefulness, be able to like look at and appreciate all the different creative contributions that Ivan made when it comes to cinema and how much we've benefited from that. I mean, like I know that the first time that you and I actually really heard of his work were when we were kids.
Yeah.
Because our dad loved National Lampoon's Animal House.
Right.
And he was the director and the producer of that movie. At the time, we were just kids. I mean, like, I think we were like...
What's that movie, Dad? No. Yeah. Don't shut your eyes. Get out of the room.
I mean, it was like, I think I was 7 and you were 5 or something like that. When
2 years.
But I mean, it was like literally every time that movie got brought up in conversation, our dad just lit up. He was like, oh, Animal House. Yeah, it's great. Belushi's in there. And Dan Aykroyd, he was going down this list. Yeah, he was like just going off on it. A movie that I saw that he had made as well was Stripes. And that was a terrific movie. Super funny. It had Bill Murray. Harold Ramis was in it.
Yeah.
You know, it has one of the best lines in it where the drill sergeant was just like, what did he say? Did he say, calm down or you take it easy? It was like, take it easy, Francis.
Yeah, he goes, hey, any of you guys says my name, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
Any one of you guys messes with my stuff, I'll kill you. Any of you guys, he's like, yeah, lighten up.
Lighten up. That's what it is.
Francis.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole thing was fantastic. And Bill Murray was so fun. And so was Harold Ramis. I mean, both of them, like you could see like just this chemistry that was already naturally on screen, and it made perfect sense why they would continue making films together. You know, after Stripes, I was looking at more of his filmography. Ghostbusters, right? Like, need we say more? Ghostbusters is hands down one of our all-time favorite movies. It was such a unique setup in terms of how you had this like combination, this successful execution of an idea where like, how do we combine basically horror with comedy and fuse it together, and you get Ghostbusters. And I know that for kids, even adults too at the time, like, you know, they had those really genius moments of those jump out scares and that sort of thing. But then it's mixed with this absolutely sharp, witty dialogue. And of course, you know, you think of the cast, you think of Bill Murray, you think of Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, Harold Ramis, Sigourney Weaver. I mean, like, so many talented folks in that. And it really, I mean, it was one of those very rare catching lightning in a bottle type of scenarios where it went on and had its own cartoon series and all kinds of toys. And like, you know, what's interesting too is that there are multiple generations now who love Ghostbusters.
Right.
It's just one of those types of ideas that never gets old. It's never like dated or whatever. In fact, Ghostbusters Afterlife was a film that came out finally just last year, and then it was completely heartfelt. It was a wonderful film. Going through more of this, like, I mean, Twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. That was a really funny show. And what was interesting about that too is that it actually took a topic that's quite controversial, especially back when that film came out, but it made it hilarious. Again, like it's Ivan Reitman really knew how to skirt that line of like having something that was like maybe controversial or provocative, whatever else it is, but then have this comedy that just disarms the audience, and suddenly they have these like ridiculous situations that come up, and it was such like a formula that he was a master of.
Right. Having fun with the controversial.
Oh yeah,
without making it more controversial and uncomfortable.
Exactly. Like he knew how to have fun with it.
Yeah.
And, you know, then you had Ghostbusters 2 that came out. He did Kindergarten Cop with Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, again, makes perfect sense. What was that one line from the movie? He's like, "Oh, forgive me. I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Richard Kimball. And I love my car." It's like, "Oh, I'm going to keep an eye on your car for you." Remember that?
I think it was a little bit different, but I remember the scene. Yes.
It was toward the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, he was going to talk to a source or something like that, and like
remember those
kick his butt.
Those guys were like sitting on his car, so he like turned around and he's like, "Oh, forgive me.
Yeah,
I forgot to introduce myself." Anyway, but you know, really cool. He also was the executive producer on Beethoven, which, I mean, at that point in time, like that was like that.
That was the dog.
Yeah, the dog film, real popular family film.
He was producer and executive producer for a ton of stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean,
you know what he was? He was a producer. You're gonna laugh at me, Russ. You're gonna laugh at me. He was producer of, or one of the producers of this movie called Heavy Metal.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that?
I have not seen it.
I watched it.
It's
pretty psychedelic.
Well, I imagine so, because I've seen the comic book. I mean, I assume it's based off the comic book, or maybe the comic book's based off it.
I don't even know. I just remember passing in the theater so many times. Or the theater. Yeah, look at that.
It's still here.
What room is this one showing in?
Avatar's got nothing on this film.
So I'd pass it like, you know, in Blockbuster or something like that. You know, I'm like, man, what is this next time? I'm like, I'm going to rent this movie. You know, I mean, I saw it, you know, like, you know, whatever. It wasn't that, you know, great movie. But I mean, it was different, that's for sure. Psychedelic is probably the word I'd, you know, say. Continue.
Well, so he also was involved with Road Trip.
I saw that, yeah.
With I can't remember the names of the guys who were in that film, like Sean William Scott and Tom Green.
Tom Green.
Again, hilarious movie. Like, that movie was so good. It was so funny, and you can tell it has Ivan's DNA all over the comedy when it comes to a film like that. You're like, well, yeah, of course, that totally makes sense. He also did Evolution, which if you recall, that was with Dave Duchovny. And Dan Aykroyd was actually in that one briefly, but it was that one where like it was the aliens, like you had some sort of alien meteor that came down, and like I think it took place in Nevada, but it was like this, it was growing its own ecosystem underneath, and like at first it was like, you know, nothing to worry about, and then all of a sudden it started making these like alien primates. You remember this?
I think I remember if I saw
You would totally recognize it if you saw it, but it was definitely like a really funny, fun film. Also by Reitman. Euro Trip again, super funny. Like, just so you've seen that, right?
I remember you talking about it a bunch.
It has that one scene where the guy from SNL is like the Italian on the train. Scusi. Who's like massaging the guy. He's like, get off me.
Sure.
Oh.
Yes. Sounds, yeah.
You need to see that movie. You need to see that. That is, watch it with the wife. That is a funny movie.
Maybe on one of the slower topic weeks, Russ, we can do a review of Euro Trip.
It's good. It's really good.
Doubt it, Russ.
Let me see here.
Oh, what else, Russ? What else you got?
I'm looking. I'm actually having to go through.
You know what? I think he actually played. No. I'm sorry, played. I think he actually helped produce the bad Ghostbusters, the 2016 Ghostbusters, if I'm not mistaken. He didn't direct it, but I think he produced it.
Maybe he was a producer on it. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me just because
Ghostbusters is his bag baby.
And they also they created that Ghostbusters core or whatever that basically is like kind of like this like Ghostbusters focused sub studio within. I think it's Columbia or Paramount. It's one of those. Like, but anyway, they focus on all kinds of new IPs. In fact, when I look at what he was involved in, that's still in pre-production and have been announced. I mean, you have. Let's see, Untitled Animated Ghostbusters Project, Ghostbusters Ecto-Forced, which is a TV series. He was actually working on a Stripes TV series too, apparently.
Oh.
Anyway, still very much involved. There was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different types of projects that were going on at the point in time. I have to say though, that in terms of him being able to work on a film with his son. I think that is such a beautiful thing that he was able to finish that project with Jason and be able to just watch his son take the reins of the Ghostbusters in a director sense. And not only that, but have like a successful film like that. I gotta say, I mean, it's one of those like bittersweet situations where if you could just have your father back, that would be absolutely fantastic. But my hope is that being able to work together as father and son on that project will just be such a sweet memory for years to come for him. So,
and well, at least they had that too. I mean, as far as everything I've read, he went like we all would hope to go. Just in you went to sleep one night and woke up somewhere else, sort of thing. You know, I mean, there wasn't any complications. No unfortunate situations. He just fell asleep and that was it. So, I mean, in the silver lining, if you're gonna go, well, we're all gonna go at some point. But I mean, that's the way you want. That's gonna give your family the most amount of peace. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Well, coming soon to a theater near you, it's the topic of the day. Our topic of the day is looking at and reacting to the various types of Super Bowl commercials that came out just this past Sunday. Sunday. There are two different sections to this. First off is that there have been a number of movie trailers that we are quite interested in that we have not. Have we not seen these trailers, Steve?
Russ, I gotta admit, so I had my birthday over the weekend. Thank you very much. Super Bowl weekend. So
I took you out to dinner. I'm well aware.
I didn't watch much of the Super Bowl. So I may have seen a trailer. I may not have. I don't know what was shown at the Super Bowl, Russ. That's right. So, whatever was shown there, I'm going to say most likely I did not see it. I'll
We'll
try
have
be
to
as
go down
authentic as I can.
one by one. Steve, we were going to start off with The Lord of the Rings by Amazon. Have you seen this trailer already, Steve?
Actually, you know what, Russ?
Oh, what, Steve? What is it, Steve?
I started to see it, and then I stopped.
Did you?
Because I thought, you know what, we're probably going to talk about this on the show. I'm just going to stop it right now.
I'm proud of you, Steve.
Discipline, Russ. Hashtag discipline.
Better late than never, I say. Very good. Well, as was aforementioned, we're going to be checking out Lord of the Rings of Power teaser trailer that Amazon has spent a pretty penny on. So let's take a little look-see at that, shall we?
More of a teaser than anything else there, Russ, but at least we got something. At least we know that all that work that they've been telling us about, that they've been doing on the show, is coming to fruition. So I think I mentioned this, probably not last episode, or maybe the episode before that, or the episode before that. That I think that they're taking like the stories of the book of the Silmarillion. And because all of that, like, you know, before the king, before the ring, before, and like all of that, like all of the stuff that Gandalf says, or the Lady of Lothlorien says. In the beginning, that all happened in the Silmarillion. So like when he creates the ring and he gives the ring to all the men and the dwarves and yada, 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 the mines of Moria, even when you watch The Hobbit, all the tribes of the dwarves, that's all in the Silmarillion.
Okay.
So the Silmarillion, lines out Gandalf's line of wizards that they were talking about. Okay, that's all there. The line of the Dunedain, like, you know, from where Aragorn's from, all that is like explained in the book. So I'm thinking that show is going to explain all what's in the book.
So have you read?
No, started to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so I don't have a clue. I have not read any of these books, and I can say though that looking at the trailer itself, I mean, it looks gorgeous. And I think if I remember correctly, I want to say that Amazon has spent something like $1 billion or over $1 billion.
Good for them.
So I don't really know too many details at this point in time about just like how long it's going to be for or whatever. But just looking at the visuals on screen there, my goodness. I mean, like the cinematography looks gorgeous. The armor and just the locales and everything. It looks like they have really made an effort to replicate what Peter Jackson established with the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, which is fantastic, right? Like you want to be able to have a bit of that visual echo. I think it'd be kind of weird. I would accept it, but like it would be kind of jarring, I think, if they decided to go a completely different direction. I think that in this type of instance, the world of Middle Earth has been so well realized that I think that was very smart. So I think, did you like what you saw in the teaser?
For the most part, yeah. I mean, there that one scene where it looks like someone's holding on for dear life with his dagger in the ice. That didn't look. He didn't look like he was struggling. I mean, that didn't look very. I think they could have probably done that a little better, but like tons of other stuff that was there. I mean, just gorgeous. I wonder if they even filmed it in New Zealand. I wonder.
Good question.
Would be cool.
It's worth looking up for sure. And I bet they probably went to some exotic locations and stuff. So I would not be surprised in the slightest.
With the North Dakota.
Looking forward to it though. Do you know offhand? I don't remember seeing a release date at the end of the trailer.
I think it's. I'm gonna be wrong, but I think it's next year.
Okay, well I'll have to take a look at that. But anyway, I'm interested. I thought that was super cool. The second trailer we're going to be taking a look at right about now is the one I'm actually very excited to watch. It's a trailer for Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. Let's take a little look-see.
Every night, I dream the same dream. And then the nightmare begins. I did what I had to do to protect our world.
You cannot control everything, Strange. You opened the doorway between universes, and we don't know who or what will walk through it.
Wanda, what do you know about the multiverse?
Viz had his theories. He believed it was dangerous.
He was right.
I'm sorry, Stephen. Your desecration of reality will not go unpunished.
We should tell him the truth.
Things just got out of hand.
You break the rules. Look out! To become a hero. I do it, I become the enemy. It doesn't seem fair.
Man. Okay, I am pumped for that. I think we're going to be getting a lot of juicy storytelling morsels out of that one. What do you think?
I think you're right, Russ. That's going to be well, I was going to say that's going to be one to see in the theater, but I don't think they're going to have it available to stream anyway, so I don't have a choice. I have to go there and buy some popcorn. Nice, cool cardboard cup of ice water. Ooh. Yes. Waxy on the sides. Ooh. Meet your peers. Ask them, how you doing? How you doing with COVID? You got your Omicron shot, huh? Oh, boy.
So, okay. Benedict Cumberbatch is fantastic as Doctor Strange. Every time I see him in some sort of MCU film, I just get giddy because I think he is such a natural for the role. And I'm glad that they're taking this really unique approach with using him as really like a substantial, pivotal character within the MCU itself. It's not like, oh, look, I just do like magic tricks and poof, like
it's kind of a cornerstone of like this whole foundation, or at least for phase 4.
Well, when you think even about like, say, the Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, he was, remember how like he was looking into the future of all those different possibilities.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I really love how they use Steven as this.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Where's your cape?
Right here.
Yeah. Whoa. But anyway, I really love that. I love how Wanda is going to be in this as well. I think that's a really unique matchup because those are the two kind of, witch wizardy type of characters that we've been introduced to.
And a wizard.
But they haven't really interacted before now.
Yeah, it's been more of a, hey.
Nice cape.
Yeah.
Nice cowl.
What kind of spells can you catch? Cast, Russ. I guess one of them might catch the spell.
Technically, maybe they could catch it,
Probably could.
It's pretty cool.
I wouldn't leave it out.
Visually speaking, from what I saw, first of all, I loved how long the trailer was. Like they were showing quite a bit in there, which speaks to their confidence of like what it is that they're doing. I think that there was a very clear direction. Sam Raimi, is the director, which if you recall, he was the director of the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. So I saw that name. I was like, ooh, okay, this is cool. And looking at the different types of dimensions and warped situations and everything else, it looked like there was like an evil Doctor Strange in there.
Things got out of hand.
Not only that, but then also it looked like there were two different Wandas. Like it's almost like kind of like a split reality or a split dimension or something like that. But like, there was that moment where you saw Wanda in her like Scarlet Witch outfit, and then there was another Wanda in her like normal civilian clothes, and they were in that house. I don't know what they were doing.
Oh, she could be in her civilian clothes anyway, Rose.
But there were two of them.
What, in the same pics in the same screen?
Yeah.
I must have missed that.
Oh man. Well, there was a lot. I mean, like the trailer itself has a lot of content in there. I mean, I love that one particular special effect they were showing where it looked like Doctor Strange was, I don't know, in slow motion, like flying through some kind of dimension, but like his face looked like they were made of like voxel blocks or something.
Right.
I mean, I was like, whoa. I mean, that's
Rubik's Cube.
I mean, it's such an opportunity for visual effects artists to be able to go to town and like, okay, how can we really make this really much of abstract magic carpet ride as we possibly can? I'm excited. I'm very excited for that one. I guess it comes out in the summertime.
I was just about to say, Russ, when's that one come out?
Summertime. And we will, of course, we'll review it. The next trailer that we have on the docket is Moon Knight, which is another Marvel Studios film. So I suggest we go ahead and check that one out.
I can't tell the difference between my waking life and dreams. It must be very difficult. The voices in your head. There's chaos in you. Embrace it.
Interesting. That one was a whole lot shorter.
That was. It's coming out in March, Russ. That's next month.
I'm not too familiar with the character Moon Knight. Are you?
No.
Obviously, comic book character.
His cape, though, looks like the crest of a moon.
Funny how there's significance in that.
Yeah, I think they were watching out.
Indeed.
But we're going to be able to stream that one
in
Disney Plus, Russ. I didn't say it was coming to the theater. It said Disney Plus at the end. Did you see that at the end?
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. Disney Plus.
There you go. I hope.
So then,
okay, never mind.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no.
I'm sorry.
No, you first.
Lo siento, Esteban.
That's Colombian there, Russ, by the way.
You're welcome.
So,
De nada.
I'm hoping that they are going to give us some good action in this one, Russ. Right? I need some action from a Disney Plus Marvel show.
Well, is it going to be a series or is it going to be just one big long film that they're going to make available on Disney Plus?
I thought it said it was going to be a series.
Okay.
I thought that was what it said, didn't it? I'm seeing things. I don't know, Russ.
Maybe
I had a birthday.
Maybe
Things
it
are
is
changing.
Normally, it is a series. The reason why I brought it up is that I just wasn't sure if like maybe there was like a new kind of approach to how they're releasing it. Like maybe they wanted to kind of test the waters, but you're probably right. It's probably a series. Anyway, I don't know anything about that particular character. I don't read that particular comic book. However, from what little they showed, I'm curious. Yeah. I'm interested. I'm really happy with this new direction that we're seeing with several comic book films where like, you know, you have Morbius, which, you know, has that kind of vampire-y type of comic book character, and it has a new set of different kind of superpowers. Then you have Moon Knight, which not exactly the same. It looks kind of like psychological-ish, but then maybe he sees things that others can't see from other dimensions, almost like a Constantine kind of thing. And then we have Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, which again, like it's cool from a storytelling perspective, like how they're really going beyond kind of like the foundational comic book characters like Captain America and Iron Man and so forth. Do you agree?
I do. Ross, I agree. What do we have next?
We have Nope, which is by Jordan Peele. Apparently, I think it's going to be yet another horror movie. So let's take a look.
Did you know that the very first assembly of photographs to create a motion picture was a 2-second clip of a black man on a horse? And that man is my great-great-grandfather.
Great.
There's another great-grandfather. But that's why back at the Haywood Ranch, as the only black-owned horse trainers in Hollywood, we like to say since the moment pictures could move, we had skin in the game.
What's a bad miracle? They got a word for that.
Yeah, nah. Run!
What I was going to say, because you kind of went, nope, right as I was mid-sentences. I haven't seen that trailer, Russ.
Now, did you see Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness?
No,
trailer?
Russ.
Did you see Moon Knight, Steve?
No, Russ.
Excellent.
Ah.
So you haven't seen any of what we've been looking at so far?
Just the beginning of Lord of the Rings.
Just the beginning.
Or the
Well, I would say that's a massive improvement from what we've had to deal with in the past, Steve.
Russ, and deal with it you must. So what is that movie about exactly? Because I'm watching it. I see a lot of low light shots. It looks like there's an invisible force. A lot of darkness encompasses the building and all the people, and they're running from something. And I'm not really sure what the story is.
So it sounds like they are a family of horse breeders specifically for Hollywood. It sounded like they were the one. Yeah. Well, then why are you asking me?
Well, what's beyond that? That was they said at the beginning.
I don't know what it's about. Yeah, I already know that. Color me confused.
Keep going.
Anyway, I don't know in all the ins and outs of it, but from the trailer itself, it looks as though like there is some kind of darkness that comes up. Maybe I don't know if it's like family related or if perhaps there is something that causes them to, maybe there's a price for their success being what they are. I actually like these types of setups. What's interesting to me before yes,
Ross.
I won't go into that just quite. I'm going to pause that thought real quick. What I find interesting is how this film, like from the get-go, like the color grading, you can tell right away, like this is going to be like a horror movie kind of thing, which is great. I always love color palettes. I think that like there's so much information that we register on a subconscious level when it comes to color. And so that was one of the things that jumped out to me immediately was like how they color graded the film. I also liked a lot of the actors that I saw in there. I had never really thought about combining them, but then like seeing them on screen together, I was like, ooh, yeah, okay, this is looking good. It was a teaser trailer though, so like unfortunately, I don't think there was like a ton of info. But that brings me to my point that I paused. I will now resume, which is that Jordan Peele has been coming out with this string of successful horror flicks lately, which is crazy because I mean I always know, or well, when I first was introduced to him, I mean he was a comedian, like he was into like really funny skits and stuff. I mean it was super great, and it's been this really pleasant surprise to watch him now be more and more in this director's chair for horror films, and he clearly has an knack for it.
Yeah, he does. They're kind of like Hitchcocky in a way.
Yeah, a little bit. Absolutely.
Yeah. Not like thrasher horror films, but like thriller horror films.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Well, I think, when it comes to horror movies, I'm not like a huge horror fan. I may see it, I may not. I'm not sure. It has nothing to do with like whether or not I question the quality of the film. I'm sure the film is going to be really good. It's just that's the genre itself.
You're afraid of wetting the bed, aren't you, Russ?
I am.
Yeah, it's okay. Be honest with yourself. It's great.
With my nipples.
Gross.
Your wife, however, likes messed up horror. I'm sure she'll probably want to go check it out.
That means I might get drug along to it. Did I tell you? Off topic, by the way.
Oh.
Resident Evil 7. She loves it.
You did tell me this, yes.
That game is scarier than Resident Evil 8. I like 8 better for that reason. I'll play 7 and I'm like 30 minutes in, like, I need a break. I'm going to go walk the dog. I'm going to get some ice water.
Find a happy place.
She's like, no, keep playing. I'm like, you play.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Yeah. Yeah. Both you and I have never been like huge horror fans. Like we'll watch certain ones. We're like, okay, that was messed up. Okay. I think I'm good for now.
Man, that was messed up. Let's do it again.
Some friends though, they are all about the horror movies. They love every kind of horror movie. I'm like, man, I get too freaked out.
Yeah.
The final trailer that we have is the newest trailer for the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie.
Yeah,
did you ever see the initial trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog 2?
Yes, I did.
You did?
I think we watched it on the show.
Oh. We probably did.
I still have my memory.
Like a steel trap. Let's check out this particular trailer, shall we?
On game day, it all comes down to heads or tails.
See what we did there?
The showdown begins.
Sonic the Hedgehog. You're no match for me.
Boy.
This is your moment to be the big hero.
Oh, great, the Winter Soldier.
It is my destiny to destroy you.
Work smarter, not harder.
That wasn't too bad.
Sonic the Hedgehog 2, April 8th.
Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I have a bit of initial reaction to this in the sense that, first of all, it's great that they are totally just diving into more of the Sonic characters. So we have Tails, we have Knuckles, Chaos Emeralds. We've got a lot more of the fantasy Robotnik contraptions, that sort of thing. At the same time, though, the other side of it is I'm kind of bummed that like it's still taking place on Earth.
Right.
Like I really want to kind of go away from Earth and actually see this fully realized fantasy land that Sonic and his buddies live in and that Dr. Robotnik lives in. And at the end of the first film, to a certain degree, like we were led to believe that that's where they were going because Robotnik had gone into this dimension and was starting to like, you know, have like a completely different look. And he was bald and he had the big mustache. I'm like, okay, this is really cool. You know, they had the first movie that started out on Earth. Now we're going to bring everybody in, but it doesn't look like that's the case in this film.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing, Russ. As much as you want to get back to Green Hill Zone, all you have is pavement and Earth and life as it is right now as we know it. We can just hope, Russ. Maybe they have some surprises for us. Maybe they'll have, hey, we showed you just like 20% of the movie, which is the 20% that's on Earth. Then the rest of the 80% is in Green Hill Zone.
Well, and I'll still watch it regardless because I really do like these films that they've done. It looks like it's going to be more of what we saw in the first film. And my daughter is a big Sonic fan now. That's going to be a fun one to take her with and check out. So, you know, regardless of what they end up happening to, I just didn't, that sentence petered out prematurely.
Don't know what you're saying, Russ.
I apologize. What I was trying to say is that regardless of where the film goes, whether it's in Earth or it's in some other kind of like Sonic Green Hill Zone type of thing, we'll have a good time.
Yes.
I just want to see, like, I just remember the first like 3 or 5 minutes of the first film where like you actually saw like a Green Hill Zone fully realized. I'm like, give me more of that. That's what I want to see. And I think you were of the same.
Precisely.
Same opinion. Those are all the trailers that we were going to check out. Let us pivot also over to some of the commercials. Did you have a chance to look at some of the highlighted commercials from the Super Bowl, Steve?
I did, Russ.
Okay. I made a short list of the ones that I liked. First of all, the GM commercial with Dr. Evil. Did you see that one?
I did.
And what'd you think?
I just kind of thought it was so-so. I was at first when it came up, I thought, okay, cool. There's some money spent. That's at least $7 million there for that ad, if not more. But it wasn't like it was that funny though. I was kind of wanting it to be funnier. I thought it was going to be funnier. Mike Myers and
so I think the challenge is that it's GM. Like when you have a corporate company like GM, you can't, you have to put a cap on what kind of comedy you're able to do. I do think in terms of the slapstick comedy, it was pretty funny. Like I thought like, you know, the times when like Dr. Evil's hand got slapped every time he tried pushing Scotty's button or whatever, I thought that was really funny. I thought even seeing Seth, in the chair with his own baby and stuff. And like, you know, there were moments of it's like, okay, this is good. But at the same time, I know what you're talking about because the Austin Powers films has some of that dirty, biting comedy that's mixed in with the slapstick stuff.
And that's the kind of the thing you have to, I don't know, as an advertiser, you're saying, okay, I want to have everything people liked about this movie and I want to pay for it in my product on my commercial. And they were like, okay, let's go. And they're like, but we're going to make it all different. I mean, I'm not saying it was all different. I'm just saying like we want it to be up here and they go, oh, we're just going to, we have to take it down quite a few notches just to make it like, especially safe. But then you lose a lot of that humor and a lot of that excitement from the movie. So, I mean, it's not like your typical ad, it's way above that. But I was hoping for all the humor that I remember from Austin Powers. And I just got a smile and a chuckle out of it, but it wasn't. I wanted to be hilarious.
And you got to think too. I mean, like the Super Bowl is, you have kids watching. It's inappropriate. You can't have the type of, once again, that edgy humor that was in Austin Powers when you've got like 7-year-olds and 10-year-olds watching the Super Bowl. So I get it. Another thing about it though was the nostalgia factor. It was super fun to like see that cast of characters all together again, even if it was just for a commercial. I'm such a sucker for that. I think a lot of us are, honestly.
That's true.
The next one I had on my list was the Verizon commercial with Jim Carrey reprising his role as Cable Guy. That was brilliant. I did not expect this level of creativity coming from Verizon, which honestly, I don't think it came from Verizon. I think they hired some sort of third-party marketing like agency to come up with this idea, but good for them to like be on board and greenlight it, because the whole thing was brilliant. We're like, Verizon is a communications company. They do all the fiber optic cable and everything else. And so to have Jim Carrey come in and reprise his role as the Cable Guy, and I mean, he owned the role. It wasn't like one of those situations where like, you could tell, like, just think about the paycheck, Like, he was totally back in the zone again, right. And I just thought it was great.
Yeah, that was so, okay, so that one is a bit better. Granted, they don't have, like, the darkest of the dark humor there.
Yeah.
But they could get above and beyond that, because what we wanted to see was just Jim Carrey being Jim Carrey as the Cable Guy, which is what we got. And so they were harking back to the comedy of like, just having cable and, he's checking on all the neighbors and he's just being like a part of everyone's lives,
Yeah.
And so anyway, so yes, that commercial was definitely done better, I thought, than the Austin Powers one. So I was happy.
Well, I'm glad you're happy, Steve.
Yeah. I want to be happy, Rose. I want to be happy.
The next one I had on my list was the Lay's potato chips with Paul Rudd and Seth Rogen. It was fun. Like, I thought it was fun the way they had it set up, like as if they were at, the Seth Rogen's wedding, and they were just, he's got the jitters and, oh yeah, you okay, bud? Yeah, have some Lay's chips. Hey, remember the last time? Like kind of going down this memory lane of different times that they've had Lay's chips together. And I don't know. I think the premise was really brilliant, really fun. And it offered the opportunity to be able to do those quick cuts, right? Like you go from one scenario to the next scenario to the next scenario, all within like, I don't know, like a 60-second commercial or whatever.
Yes. I think the idea was better than it was executed. I think they cut a little bit too much, like too quick. I like seeing Seth and Paul on screen. Honestly, though, I think they could have done it with anybody. I think there's a lot of just like regular talent out there for commercials.
But I mean, both those guys they have great chemistry together.
Sure.
And a lot of people just really enjoy seeing them banter on screen.
Yeah.
Like, they were both in Knocked Up, the movie Knocked Up.
That's right. Yeah. I remember Knocked Up. Funny movie.
That was a good movie.
That would have been, they didn't reference Knocked Up though.
No.
That would have been funny though, if they didn't reference Knocked Up. Yeah.
Any other thoughts on that one, Steve?
No.
Squarespace. Do you remember that commercial?
That was the seashells by the seashore and how many seas and she's and
yes.
Can we fit in a sentence for 30 seconds?
Okay, that was brilliant.
That was pretty clever.
The fact that, so Squarespace is something that is widely known. Just, if you're on YouTube, chances are you've come across like a Squarespace advertisement. But I thought it was fun how they made up just this type of story scenario where, like, her using Zendaya using Squarespace was able to get her business up off the ground, but done so in kind of this storybook fashion that was narrated by Andre 3000. So like that whole kind of setup was fun, but most notable was the fact that script had so many words that started with the letter S and worked.
Yeah. I wonder how many takes that had to do with that one, because you just reading it. If you have a small sentence, he said, she said by the bookstore or whatever, he's like, oh, say it's like, 3 times fast or 6 times fast, but you're reading this entire script, which is quite frankly easily tongue twisted, I would have liked to see the outtakes in that one.
Yeah, I'm sure Andre was probably, like, I could just see him getting to like the final couple of lines, and all of a sudden, like, he gets tongue twisted, and he's like, and they have to like start over again.
I wonder if they had to like film that one in segments. Like he says 2 sentences and then, arranges his tongue so he can finally finish like the next 2 sentences, and then they just kind of mash it all together.
Honestly, I would love to see the script just to be able to look at it and see it for what it is and see like all those words put together. Like, even from a writer's perspective, that's got to be a bit of a creative challenge, I would say. So I appreciate that. I think that was pretty original. The last one on my list was Jurassic World. And this is actually notable because I have felt as though a lot of the more recent Jurassic Park type of films have not really been as like memorable or as good as like the original Jurassic Park or even Jurassic Park 2.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
It's just because Michael Crichton wasn't writing those, Russ. So they have to write their own scripts for it, and they're really trying to milk that one for all it's worth. I do like Chris Pratt's performance. He's a great little superhero, and then he's not a superhero, but I mean he's like the hero protagonist. Yeah. So you put like a pretty good star-studded cast in it, but. I mean, they really need to wow the crowd with this one because the last couple movies have just kind of been so-so. What are you going to do?
I do think, though, one of the ingredients for this one that has caught my interest is the fact that they are combining the original cast of Jurassic Park with the current cast of the Jurassic Park films. I think that's a really good move. I think it's a shrewd move. I think it's great to bring back Dr. Grant and... bring back what is his name? Is it Malcolm?
Yeah.
Okay. I was trying to think of his character name. Like, chaos.
You can't just go around and creating dinosaurs.
I'm always on the lookout for the future Mrs. X Malcolm.
I want to touch everything and learn about it.
Smell it, massage it, yes, lick it. Yeah.
So no other ones caught your fancy there, Russ?
There were other ones but those I just wanted to kind of do the ones that were the ones that caught my eye. I have not seen every single commercial.
Oh, really?
Have you, Steve?
Actually, I don't know. I've seen a lot of them.
Have you now?
I don't know if I've seen a lot. I don't know if I've seen all. But my favorite one, Russ, was the Sopranos commercial with the electric truck.
I did see that one.
Oh, did you?
But it didn't make my personal list because I haven't watched
that.
The Sopranos yet. But I did think of you, and I thought to myself, what are the chances that Steve's going to really like that show? I gave it a 50-50 shot.
Funny how that didn't make your list. But you watch the entire show, Russ, and you learn to appreciate the beginning of... I mean, it's like the show you don't fast forward the ending to. You can, but you like it so much, you watch it and you watch it 60 times.
It has that infectious theme song.
Yes, it does. And with that mixed with like all the New Jersey sights and stuff, it sticks with you. All right? And so seeing AJ and Meadow all grown up, and Meadow's driving this, truck like a boss.
I wondered if those were some of the actors from the show.
I didn't know when I started seeing it if that was going to be like, oh man, they're using this theme song. Are they just like referencing it? Like, what's going on? Like, there's a chick behind there. No, was that? No, it can't be. I'm like, I think it is. And then for sure, like, she gets out and she gives her brother a hug and stuff. That was cool because like Tony. In the show, he drives a Chevy. It's a Suburban. It's not a truck, but...
The old significance.
Yes. But all the new sights and jerseys, like they refilmed the entire thing. It wasn't like they took it out from the show and put it in the commercial. Like they refilmed start to finish. They probably pasted a couple different scenes in there, but basically all new.
Indeed.
I liked it.
I'm glad you did. Yes. Were there any other commercials that you found to be on your favorites list, Steve?
Nah, I think you covered those, Russ.
All right. Yeah. See, I wasn't that far off. And actually, the one that you brought up, I did in fact see. I thought there were some other ones that had fallen through the cracks as far as my computer YouTubing was concerned. But nope, I don't think so. Overall, though, I would say that was a pretty decent roster of commercials. When you combine the different movie trailers with some of those commercials that came up, I mean, there have been certain years where like you have the Super Bowl and I'm totally amped up to watch the commercials and they suck.
I know.
They're so bad.
Like, what happened? This is the one time when you actually want to see the commercials.
Oh yeah, it's like this universal understanding that like the Super Bowl is the one time where all these companies pay premium prices, not only in the production of the commercials, but even getting the slots during the Super Bowl itself. So like, you know, if you have certain years where like it's just terrible, I mean, it's such a letdown. You feel robbed. You're just like, man, like what the heck happened?
Yeah. You're like, everybody shut up. It's the commercials.
Yeah. It's like the one time where like everybody, instead of like going off to another room or having conversations, like their eyeballs are glued because they want to see what kind of memorable commercials are going to come up. And so I was pretty happy with what I saw, especially considering the fact that this year I didn't watch the Super Bowl. So, you know, there you have it.
Okay.
That wraps up this episode of Joygasm. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. If you enjoyed this episode, we invite you to check out patreon.com/joygasm, where you can enjoy exclusive perks and early access to the show. Not to mention it continues to help us financially doing this show. Also, make sure you click on that subscribe button as well as that notification bell. That way you will not miss a single episode of Joygasm. It drops once a week every week. And while you're at it, do a search on your favorite social media platform of choice. We're on just about all of them for @JoygasmTV. And you'll be able to find all kinds of fun little additional content that we like to put up there, a little behind the scenes goodness, maybe some other little fun pics and videos. Who knows? Last but not least, do a search for Joygasm TV on Twitch to see us stream our gaming adventures live every Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Central Time. There is still an issue with our headsets, unfortunately, so at least when it comes to the Xbox side of things, you're only going to be able to hear this guy.
Yep.
Not that guy, just this guy.
Yeah.
So we will look forward to hanging out with you again next week.